Okay, what's going on? What's up? This is like my fourth take of just doing this part. If you end up hearing any banging, no, you don't. But let's hope the noise suppression on this thing is good enough that you don't even know what I'm talking about. Either way, it's still February because this video is supposed to be this month's video, and the last video was supposed to be obviously January's video, but I uploaded it at the start of the month. Either way, what I want to quickly talk about, okay, before we actually get into the main part of the video, is something else that happened, which is not only coincidental but like pretty cool. Basically, it is about the last video. If you don't know, I uploaded a video talking about Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc. I uploaded that video on the 1st of Feb. Now, 2 days later, Bugfish ended up uploading a almost 3-hour long video also talking about Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc. Now, if you don't know who Bugfish is, you most likely would have seen him on TikTok, but if you don't, I ain't gonna lie, you simply don't know ball. Like, I'm just gonna be real with that. Also, yeah, look, I know a couple things have changed. I've not even got the hoodie on right now. My hair's chopped. I'm stood up right now. But like, yeah, they uploaded an almost 3-hour video on Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc, literally 2 days after my one came out. And I'm mentioning this not to accuse them of like copying or anything like that. Don't want anyone to think that this is like some sort of me trying to like spread hate or anything. I'm actually doing this, or the only reason I'm mentioning this is because in my video, I only actually spoke up until the end of the first class trial, which if you know when that is, then you know it's not incredibly too far into the game. They ended up uploading a almost 3-hour long video going much further into the game. Okay, giving a much more in-depth explanation into the game, as well as, like I say again, going further into it. The reason why I'm mentioning this is because if you want a more in-depth explanation of the game, go watch their video. Like I say again, my one only went up until the end of the first class trial. Now, to those who already have watched it, thank you, and to anyone who wants to, feel free to. But like I say again, my video is only about an hour and a half, and that one only goes up until the end of the first class trial. Theirs is almost a 3-hour long video in which it's only part 1, and they're gonna end up uploading another video on it. So, like again, as mad coincidental as it is, like even though I've seen them on TikTok before, we've literally never spoken before. Like, we don't actually know each other like that or anything like that. Like, we've never sent a message to each other, is my point. So the chances that within like 2 days within each other, we would both end up uploading a Danganronpa video talking about Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc is like, the odds of that happening is apparently very small, but not zero. So, like I say again, the whole reason I'm mentioning this is it's actually to promote their video, just letting you know that, like I say again, they go into much more greater detail and go much more further into the game than I ended up speaking about in my video. So if you want to see that, go watch their one as well as watch mine. Don't forget to still watch mine, but go watch their one as well, because like again, they talk about more of the game than I did in my one. Okay, so look, I decided to just stay stood up because I prefer that more, and we got the hoodie back on. And I'm doing that just to make you think in your mind a significant amount of time has happened since I last recorded, when in actuality it's been probably about 2 minutes. But I've kind of ruined the illusion now because I just told you that. But I've still got the black shirt literally like underneath. Like, I don't know if the camera can see that low, but like, yeah, like I've still got the black shirt on. Like, anyway, let's go to the main part of the video, because we don't need the video being the same as last one and be like an hour and a half. So let's hit the ground running. See, when we look at like the YouTube Hall of Fame, you would expect to see names like Markiplier, PewDiePie, MatPat from the Game Theory, the Sidemen, and even Nigahiga. And I know people are definitely going to mention the fact that there's another few YouTubers that I could have definitely mentioned. We simply just don't have the time to be naming them all. Okay? And see, the reason why I've mentioned these names is because one of these names in specific are going to be exactly what we're going to be talking about in this video. And because of the fact that I probably put their name in the title, it should come as literally zero surprise to any of yous when I say that this one is about Nigahiga. Now, Nigahiga, go, okay? That goes without saying. And heck, If I can, I'm probably even playing his background music in the back of this video if I could actually find it. But Nigahiga genuinely was incredible, okay? Comedic genius, if you will, okay? Incredible at thinking outside the box whenever it came to his skits, his parodies, his Q&As, his series like Schizo. Nigahiga genuinely had an incredible talent at making just things funny, and without a doubt made every single video feel like a movie. Like genuinely, you'd have like a 9-minute long video feeling like it was 30 minutes. Nigahiga truly was like just peak. Yeah, no, just peak, bro. Especially during the golden era of YouTube, like Nigahiga really was like one of the ones at the top running the game. And see, I'm saying past tense as if he's like died or something, and honestly, God forbid it. I'm saying that just because he doesn't actually upload anymore, right? He actually spends most of his time on the internet anyway, streaming. Well, I'd say most of the time. That's pretty much all the time, okay? He doesn't stream all the time, but all the time that he spends on the internet is streaming. Just doesn't upload anymore. Yeah, simple as that. And you know, it's at least nice to see that he isn't completely off the face of the internet, and that he's still actually an active person on the internet. It's just that obviously he's just no longer doing YouTube videos anymore. But then that just leaves the question, why are we actually talking about Nigahiga in the first place? Well, what if I were to say that he predicted just how the internet was going to end up being 11 years ago? Now, I know this might sound like I'm taking a slight hit of the copium, but if you just hear me out, maybe, just maybe, you'll end up agreeing with me and you'll start to see eye to eye with why I think he predicted exactly how the internet was going to end up being. See, 11 years ago, he brought out a video called Easily Butthurt People. And feel free to watch that video after watching this one, and maybe by watching it, you'll actually end up agreeing with the points that I make in this video. And see, I'll hopefully end up showing you parts of the video to hopefully like prove my point. But essentially in that video, he actually mentions that he got quite a bit of heat for a joke that he'd actually made in another video, because in that video he made a joke about Ebola.
And for those of you who haven't seen that video, this is what the joke looked like. If a girl that small were to kill me, ow! What the hell, dude?
There, Ebola. Now you really have 7 days. I don't know why I even told you this.
And he mentioned the fact that had that joke been made about another disease, especially one that hadn't been spoken around or spoken about so much around that time, then people wouldn't have been offended. But because Ebola was spoken about so much around that time, people got so offended by it. And don't get me wrong, I do think the joke was slightly insensitive, but I do think he actually also has a very good point. Because of the fact that Ebola was spoken about so much around that time, all of a sudden it seemed like a really terrible joke to make. However, had Ebola just not been in the news at all, people probably wouldn't even care about the fact that he made that joke. And like I say again, I think he does make a good point, because it's one of those where it's only because of the fact that Ebola was spoken about so much that people decided to get offended about it. So simply because of the fact that the news, or simply because of the fact that Ebola was basically all over the news, it now seemed like a terrible joke to make. And here's the thing, he mentions that old YouTube kind of felt like freedom. It didn't feel as tight and as restrained as TV was. Okay, he mentions that YouTube sort of allowed you to do whatever you wanted. And here's the thing, he definitely is partially true on that, or pretty true on that. YouTube about 11 to like 15 years ago was pretty chill. You could sort of do and say whatever you want. However, the problem was you could also do and say whatever you want. You understand where the problem sort of starts to come in here, right? See, if most of your YouTubers, or most of your favorite YouTubers, and probably even mine included, were put on trial for the things that they said about 11 to 15 years ago, most would probably be in jail. Minimum 6 months if they are lucky. For the rest of them, probably would get life. But to be fair, I do have to give some leeway, because that's simply how the YouTube game was about 11 to 15 years ago, okay? The people were just sort of allowed to say and do whatever they want. That's just kind of how the YouTube game was run at that time. So I have to sort of give people the benefit of the doubt, because it's like, that's just how the game was. And don't get me wrong, that's not me excusing it all, okay? As much as I don't like some of the things that people got away with saying during that time, like I say again, that's just sadly how the game was back then. But in all fairness, compared to today's day and age in which we've seen people on the internet get cancelled for some pretty stupid things. And I don't mean as in like them doing stupid things, as in like the internet deciding to cancel them, even though what they did is not even worth getting cancelled for. And see, that was exactly Nigahiga's prediction. See, Nigahiga's prediction was that more and more easily butthurt people were going to end up coming onto the internet. Because at that time of that video, he already felt like there were more easily butthurt people coming onto the internet anyway. But he predicted that it was going to keep on growing and growing like a virus. And that more and more easy butthurt people were going to come on the internet and get offended by things that they actually decide to be offended by rather than things that would actually offend them, if you get what I'm saying. The main point is that they were just gonna end up making YouTube feel as restrained and as tight as TV was, because of the fact that people are just going to be judging 24/7 off the things that you say, and like again, deciding to be offended by things when they actually shouldn't be. So his advice at the time is that easily butthurt people should probably try stay off the internet, because they're probably going to find a lot of things on the internet that they'll decide to get offended by rather than things that will actually offend them. Things that they have no reason actually getting offended by, but they just decide, heck it, I feel like that offended me, so I'm gonna let it offend me.
Does that joke honestly hurt you or offend you in any way? Because if it does, I apologize sincerely. I did not mean to offend you in any way. It wasn't meant to be offensive. But if you really do get offended that easily, you should probably stay off the internet, because you're gonna have a bad time. Ebola is not something new. It's been around for a long time. Just because something is all of a sudden in the news, it doesn't make it any less or more deadly than it was before.
Now, as you can see, that advice very clearly did not work, because we have more easily butthurt people on the internet than ever. And don't get me wrong, there are times where people do get cancelled for things that they truly deserve to get cancelled for, because some people on the internet have done some truly terrible things. However, the ratio in comparison to like how many people who deserve to actually get cancelled and then how many don't deserve it and still do anyway, because what they did actually isn't as serious as everyone's trying to make it out to be. Yeah, the scale is heavily tipping in one side than the other. Like I just mentioned a bit earlier, we've seen people on the internet get cancelled for some of the most stupid stuff ever, and they don't even deserve it. Twitter nowadays is just a cesspool of trolls, never to be taken seriously. And I sort of feel like the number of people on the internet with working brain cells has dropped to a number so low that I can still just about manage to count them on both my hands, but I do have to keep you aware that that number is still falling. But see, the thing is, I see this as a massive haha sort of thing, or damn sort of thing, because he predicted it. Nigahiga really predicted that shiz, because not only did he call it, but it went the exact opposite way of what he wanted. Like I say again, we have more easily butthurt people and judgy people on the internet than ever. And it's just crazy that he just called it over 10 years ago. He knew that people were going to continuously come on the internet and get more and more easily butthurt over things that they shouldn't. And it's just insane. I ain't gonna lie, he's crazy for that. And here's the thing, knowing Nigahiga, and to preface this, I don't actually know him at all, personally or anything like that. But just by guessing by the type of person that I think he is, he might not even care about the fact that he predicted it. Heck, he might not even know, or he might have forgotten about the fact that he even uploaded that video, because it was that long ago. Heck, that video was probably older than some of Nigahiga's own fans. I mean, I guarantee there is someone who watched this video who had no idea what the heck Ebola was. And here's the thing, I think I gotta give my generation some props, because on one half of the scale, we have people who take things way too seriously, like I've been saying, and exactly like Nigahiga predicted. And for the most part, again, you tend to see that quite a lot on Twitter. But then on the other half of the scale, you also have this generation who sort of don't tend to take anything serious, and I actually kind of love it. Don't get me wrong, we're supposed to be the next age of adults, okay? We are quite literally up next, and yet the amount of people who have made jokes about COVID, now obviously I don't mean any sort of disrespect to anyone who has lost anyone to COVID, but it's funny as a generation, the amount of jokes that were made about COVID once we got out the COVID period. Heck, the amount of jokes that people made about COVID whilst we were in the period is crazy enough. So in some sense, I do think that he's definitely right, and that there is way more easily butthurt people. But at the same time, looking at the recent events we've gone through, for something that big to have happened and our generation to react in the way that we did, yeah, we are quite unserious about quite a lot. So I give us some props, to be fair. Also, in saying all this, I don't mean to sound more negative. I'm simply just giving my opinion here. And I don't mean to take away from Nigahiga's greatness. Like I mentioned much earlier in the video, the guy is a YouTube GOAT. That goes without saying. And this is just sort of something that's always been lingering in the back of my mind. Like, in the many Nigahiga videos that I've watched, this one kind of just stood out in particular because, like I say again, I look back in it and I'm like, damn, he really did call it all that, like, all those years ago. And heck, this video isn't even like one of his more funny videos, okay? This isn't even in like my top 3 like favorite Nigahiga videos or top 3 most funny Nigahiga videos. It's just one that, looking back on it, I was like, bro, this guy really called how the internet was gonna end up being. And like I say again, though people didn't end up listening to his advice, I'm not saying that people have to listen to his advice, but it would have been nice if people had taken it. He called it, bro. Like, it's checkmate. He dead-eye called it. All those years ago, he really called it. Like I say again, it's more so the fact that he made a prediction about 11 years ago and got it right. And like I say again, even though his advice didn't end up working out, the fact that he made a prediction and that prediction went exactly the way that he had predicted it to go, honestly, fair enough, man. Like, I can already see it, how like some sort of conspiracy theorist is going to assume that Nigahiga either traveled back in time or like he's a time traveler and he tried to give us a warning and we failed to listen to the warning and now it's like ruined for the internet forever. Either way, the man's a YouTube GOAT, sitting comfy in the YouTube Hall of Fame. And if there is one thing above everything that I've said to take away from this video, go watch the guy's videos, for Christ's sakes, bro. Like, bro, I've been telling you he's a GOAT. YouTube Hall of Fame, he's one of them ones. So go flip him, watch him, okay? Go get it, like, bro, stop wasting time. He's got bangers in there, okay? Watching those for the first time, you can't ever, like, there's nothing like the first time. So go watch it. So to wrap this one up, okay? This is February's one. Definitely much shorter than the flipping last one, but honestly, all of them this year are going to be shorter than that one. So yeah, there's that. Also, that'll be the only time I make that joke because it'll get boring very quickly. Either way, this has been your boy Genie, and I'll see you first of all next month. And speaking, well, you know, seeing as we were talking about Nigahiga this video, I think it's only fair that we end this video in true Nigahiga fashion. So